President and CEO of New Directions, President of our club, and Paul Harris Fellow. I'm here to remind you that for the next hour, we're going to have our attention on the club's meeting and our speaker. And so I would like to remind you, if you have a device with you today, to please make sure you turn it off or silence it. Providing our invocation today is Cindy Cottle, Vice President and CPA at Harding, Szymanski & Company, PSC. She's also the Chair of our Finance Committee and Paul Harris Fellow.
Thank you. Good afternoon, fellow Rotarians and guests. If you could please bow your head. As we gather here today, let us take a moment to reflect on the values that unite us as members of this Rotary Club. We come from diverse backgrounds, faiths, and beliefs, yet we are all bound by a common purpose: to serve our community and make a positive impact in the world. In this season of winter, may we be reminded of the importance of compassion, understanding, and cooperation. Let us approach our discussions with open minds and hearts, respecting each other's perspectives and working together towards our shared goals. May our efforts today be guided by wisdom and kindness, and may we find inspiration in the service of others. Let us strive to make a difference, not just in our own lives, but in the lives of those we touch through our actions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cindy. Now to lead us in the pledge and the four-way test is Gary Cobb, CEO of YMCA of Greater Louisville, and Paul Harris Fellow.
Good afternoon, Rotarians and guests. Let's face our flag and repeat our pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now we will repeat our four-way test.
Is it true? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary. Okay, Rotarians, if you have a guest with you here today, please line up by the microphone. Looks like we might have a lot of guests today. Okay, looks like we have our Rotarians lined up at the microphone. Rotarians, before you introduce your guests, please say your name and title, and then introduce your guests or guests, and please limit it to their names and the affiliation that they have. And guests, when you hear your name, if you will please stand very briefly so the club can connect a name with a face. Thank you.
Thank you, President Lori. Sandra Dodge, Director of Development at New Directions Housing. I have two guests with me today. First, I'd like to remind you of David Snyder, our former Rotarian and New Hampshire Rotarian, also at New Directions. So
Welcome back, David.
Back, David. And I'd like to introduce
Yes.
And I'd like to introduce Tiffany Marthaler. Am I saying that correctly? Tiffany is new to New Directions, and she is our new Chief Impact Officer. So hopefully we'll be seeing more of Tiffany as well.
Thank you very much, and welcome both of you.
Rick King, retired. I have one guest with me today. Harry Wisman, he is the president of Bob Wells Construction.
President, all right, fellow Rotarians, I'm Henry Heisen with Unistar Purchasing Solutions. I don't have a guest today, but I want to recognize the special birthday of someone who is the earliest donor, generous person for the Louisville Rotary Promise Scholarship. It's John Gregory. He's right back here.
Yes, good afternoon, President Lori, fellow Rotarians. I'm Gerald Fuller, President of Chancellor Partners, and my guest today is Brandon Thomas, who is also a partner of Taylor Partners.
Welcome.
my guest is Nancy Nelson. She is also a commercial relationship major with the EE.
Welcome.
President Lori Cliff Elgin, retired. I don't have a guest today, but I have an announcement. If you'll recall, about 5 years ago, this club was primarily responsible for the installation of clean water and sanitary system at an orphanage outside Kampala, Uganda. Had a phone call 2 days ago. The system is still working fine, and the student population has grown. So a much needed project for that.
Good afternoon, President Lori, fellow Rotarians. My name is Renee Brown, CEO of RCB Health. I have two wonderful guests. My first guest is Rhonda Jones, and she is can you stand up for me, Rhonda? Rhonda is a small business coach and entrepreneur, so I'm glad to have her here. If you might know her, she's a resident of Louisville, been here for quite some time and do a lot of extensive work here. So I appreciate her being here. Scott, can you stand up? Scott is a small business owner, and he and his wife Jennifer run a business that all of us may want to partake of. I know I do, and it's called Rumble Boxing. It's the only one here in Louisville. It is nationwide, but Scott runs that with his wife, so appreciate it.
President Lori and fellow Rotarians, my guest today is Kevin Smith, formerly of Bean Suntory and now Goodwill's Chief External Affairs Officer.
President Lori, Maggie Harlow with Sonorama Downtown. I have three guests today, Bounty. First, Cynthia Lee. She is Director of Community Engagement at Amplify Startups, as well as does a lot of sales and business development, coaching and consulting. And we have, in the car business, we call it a be-back. We have a returning guest. We have Jilly Choi. And we have Tejas Bangala. Stand up, guys. These are Manual High School students. They co-founded a nonprofit called Local Mission Math. So if you're interested in learning more about how to help students, they'd love to talk to you about it.
Fabulous. Welcome.
President Lori and Rotarians, I have the distinct pleasure of introducing the lovely Ebony Barty with Equus Flight Academy and co-owner and senior vice president of recruitment. Say hello, Ebony, and also I've got to share. This morning, Ebony was the recipient of the I Would Rather Be Reading Impact Award. So congratulations for
Welcome, Ebony, and congratulations. So, obviously, Rotarians are doing your job by bringing all these fabulous guests to our meeting. We really appreciate it. It is the lifeblood of Rotary, right? To meet regularly, to share our fellowship, and to network in our community. So, welcome to everyone. At the end of this meeting, you will know it's the end of the meeting because I'm going to ring the bell, and that means we're adjourned. Guests, when you hear that bell being rung, if you will make your way over to this table in the far corner to my right, your left, there's going to be a senior Rotarian there who will help kind of give you the ins and outs of what Rotary is and what our club is all about. It doesn't last very long at all. We don't want to impact your day. But if you would please just go to that table for 5 or 6 minutes at the conclusion of this meeting, we would appreciate it. So that's for today's guests. As always, we have a couple of Rotarians in the spotlight this week. We want to check out Aaron McGahee's guest spot on the Russell on the Move podcast. You're going to want to tune in general, also for Aaron's, for the live broadcast of Russell on the Move with our own Kevin Fields, who, as you all know, is our club secretary and is the chair of our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee, and Herbert Johnson. Those are the two that do that broadcast every Thursday at 9 a.m. on 101.9 FM. Or, of course, we can get it online at www.wllvonline.com. So, congratulations to Aaron. Maggie now moves on to the regional competition with the National Speakers Association. And it says if she wins, but let's just say when she wins. She'll then take stage at Influence this summer. So congratulations to Maggie. You know, I shared a little story about Rotary Club too, maybe. I don't know if you had extra time. Anyway, we also have several Rotary events in the works. You can, of course, see these in Sparks, but we like to highlight the ones coming up. Some people are more oral. So the first one is on Wednesday, February 26th, we have our next meal service at Recenter Ministries. Our Interact and Rotaract clubs are hosting blood drives on 3 different dates in March. So those would be March 5th, March 12th, and March 19th. And if you can do that, I know some people can't for various reasons, but if you can give blood, please consider doing so with our Interact and Rotaract clubs. Our next Habitat for Humanity Raise the Roof Day is Friday, March 14th, and we need about 15 volunteers. Not sure how many we have right now, but if we could get 15, that would be a good showing for our club in support of our fabulous Habitat for Humanity that we have here in Louisville. That same evening, so you're going to want to go home and take a shower. That same evening at 6 p.m., we have a wine swap party at the home of Jeff and Mo Underhill. Our Rotary Spring Fling at the Zoo is going to be held on Tuesday, April 8th. And again, all these details are in Sparks, and there's more things like that too, but we'll try to highlight these each week as we have time. Now I'd like to invite to the podium Amy Luttrell, President and CEO of Goodwill Industries of Kentucky. She's also the chair of the Rotary Foundation Committee.
Thank you, President Lori. So you know when I come up here, I'm going to probably talk about the Rotary Foundation, right? And sure enough, today I'm going to talk about that again. Just for those of you who don't know what Paul Harris Fellowship is, that's Rotary's recognition of club members who give, and others who give at least $1,000 over time, doesn't have to be all at once, to the Rotary Foundation, which is Rotary International's philanthropic arm. Now, our club has a goal this year of $50,000 in the year being July to June. Right now, we're at $44,000. Last year we did $55,000. So it'd be great to at least equal that this year if we can. And this is part of the way that we live out our Rotary motto, service above self, right? So today we are going to recognize 2 Paul Harris Fellows, who are multiple Paul Harris Fellows, and we'll tell you what that is. But before I do that, I just want to tell you about a matching points campaign that we have that just started this past Monday. Some of you already remember us doing this in the past, but if you're not familiar with it, this is a chance to help you. It's an incentive to give that will help you achieve that Paul Harris Fellowship more quickly, or a multiple Paul Harris Fellowship if you already have your PHF. So how that works, now, between now and March 23rd, if you give at least $125, that would be matched, dollar for dollar, or dollar for point, with these mysterious points that nobody really understands. But how it works, I know we don't. How it works is, say for instance, if you gave $500, you would get 500 points, and you would be a Paul Harris Fellow. Or you would have your next level of Paul Harris Fellow. So that's how it works. That's all we really have to know. If you are not sure how much you've given so far, you're not sure how far you are away from that level, you can call me or you can call Mike Cool and we can look it up and let you know. So this is an incentive and we'll be putting it in the Sparks, I know, and we'll try to have some flyers on the table at our club meetings in between now and then. The important thing to know is you've got to take one extra step just to make sure you get those matching points. So you're going to want to reach out to Mike Cool, either by email or by phone, if you're going to take advantage of these points, because we want you to get that. Okay, so now I would like to invite Alex Novak and Tony Newberry to join me here at the podium. Help me thank them for their generosity. plus 8. Isn't that amazing? And Tony has achieved his Paul Harris Fellow plus 3, so give Tony a hand. We want to make this easy for you, so picture.
I'll just let it this way so we're not in front of the light.
So we do want to make this easy for you, so if you have any questions, you're not sure how to go about it, call me or call Michael. We'll do everything we can to make it easy. Thank you all for supporting the foundation.
It is wonderful. Congratulations and thank you, Amy. Now I would like to invite to the podium Ken Salvaci, General Manager of ESP in Louisville. He is the president-elect of our club, and he is also the vice chair of the Rotary Fund of Louisville, and he's a Paul Harris Fellow +1. And he's going to introduce today's speaker.
Thanks, President Lori. I'm sure you're wearing that for Valentine's Day in honor of the Cardinals' big win last night. We'll take the red and black and be a Cardinal. I met Condrad Daniels 12 years ago as a fellow class member in Leadership Louisville. His huge, ever-present smile stood out, and his leadership chops did as well. He leads HJI Supply Chain Solutions now, serving as president the past 8 years after a 4-year stint as chief operating officer. He has led the second-generation family business from a single industry facility in one of the largest woman and minority-owned businesses in 8 locations across Kentucky and Tennessee, providing 3PL solutions in the automotive, food and beverage, consumer goods, and appliance industries. Condrad is the chair-elect of the board of directors of the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce and board chair of the Louisville Branch Board of Directors of the 8th District Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis. He led GLI as board chair last year. 3 years ago, he was the Leadership Louisville Center board chair. I see Cynthia here. No, he's pretty good. He's a former board chair of the Kentucky Chamber Foundation and a current board member of the James Graham Brown Foundation, Louisville Economic Development Alliance, and University of Louisville President's Board of Advisors. He serves on the U of L Business School Board of Advisors and served on the U of L Family Business Center Advisory Board. He was awarded the 2018 Brown Forman Family Business Leadership Award, which recognizes an individual with the highest level of family business leadership and excellence in our community. Condrad played football at Georgia Tech while earning a Bachelor's of Science in Industrial Engineering. He earned his MBA from the University of Louisville. He enjoys family time, especially coaching his kids' sports teams, and he stays fit enough to outrun us all. Please welcome Condrad Daniels.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm going to put my timer on. Sometimes I go a little bit long. I got to be respectful of everyone's time here. But thank you, Ken. Thank you, Rotary Club of Louisville, for the opportunity to just kind of have a chat. You know, it's Black History Month. And I'm going to touch on some things towards the end about what community means to me through my lens. And I just hope and pray and share that you listen with a heart that's willing to change. So, a little bit about me. Born outside of the U.S., so born in the Philippines. My mom's a first-generation immigrant. My dad's from the South of Louisiana. Both of them had single parents, both raised by their moms, did not have a grandfather in the house on either side. I was the first person to go to college. Of my siblings, there's 4 of us. We all ended up graduating. So first generation college graduate, ran with red from Georgia Tech, hell of an engineer, hey. I say that because I couldn't have married into a family more opposite than how I grew up. And a lot of you all know, Alice and Wade Houston are my in-laws. Alice's uncle was the president of Tennessee State University. Her mother, a degree, had a long career as an educator, went back to school at 58 years old to get another degree. You've got, Alice and Wade, who are both just lifelong educators. There's physicians on that side of the family. My wife is a physician. She's a dermatologist. Both sets of parents. So I'm here to tell you, you are what you're exposed to. And, I have 3 teenage kids, 2 in college, and 1's a junior in high school, and who they date matters. I mean, think about that. Who they date, it really does matter. So I had no idea what I was getting into, when I just wanted to date Natalie in Atlanta. But all that to say, there was a lot of things that I learned just by being a part of this family that I had no idea that was going to shape my future, especially here in Louisville. Let's talk a little bit about the business. So when I first came onto the business, Alice and Wade had built this huge $450 million transportation company. And as I came on, they divested of all of that. And each partner decided to go their separate ways. So that meant that Alice and Wade was left with one warehouse that was supplying parts before. I came in, they had made a little bit of money, so debt wasn't a thing. It was a bad thing back in the day. You didn't want to be debt. So here I am, entrepreneurial, went back to school, got my MBA here with an emphasis in entrepreneurship, wanting to take risks, wanting to grow it, and they let me kind of navigate throughout the company, started in engineering, saving the company money, and got into a director role where I was kind of making a little bit more decisions. And there reached a point where I was either going to grow this company, or I was probably going to find something else. And I joined the U of L Family Business Center because it was a family business, and I wanted to be the second generation. I wasn't waiting on it. So I joined the U of L Family Business Center, and I just wanted to find out why so many family businesses fail, and put something in place that would give them the trust that I'd be a good ambassador of what I was given, if I was given. You gotta remember, I'm an in-law, right? Y'all, we have in-laws, right? So I went as far as to even join that board because I wanted to get a little bit more out of it and interact with some of these other family businesses. Some of them are in this room right now. And got the opportunity to just really focus in on that, presented them with a succession plan, and took off from there. We started having family business meetings, and that's when they knew we were serious. We were serious about it. They had 3 kids. Alan, who was coming off his career in the NBA and working in the front office, really didn't want anything to do with it. You had my wife, who was a physician. She didn't want anything to do with it. And then you had Lynn, Lynn and I went to school together. That's how I met my wife. So she was a high jumper at Georgia Tech. And she wanted to work in the business at the time, but didn't want to run the business. And I thought that would give us a really good understanding of roles in the beginning as we kind of figured this thing out together. So grateful for the opportunity to have their trust to run the business when they named me president back in 2017. I have to say, as I started rolling out this family charter, family constitution, where we try to put as much of the what if this happens, what if that happens in there, whether it's substance abuse, whether it's acting irresponsibly, you never think you're going to have to use that stuff. However, I learned in family business, families have these things to deal with all the time. And if you don't plan for it, it's hard to prepare for what's going to happen after. And sometimes it can destroy the whole family. So, I'll never forget, first family business meeting that I put together, we flew out to Denver, and it was the first time that we had all of the in-laws, together around the table. And I said, look, this the whole purpose of this is to develop trust. And I know as siblings, you think there's a level of trust, but let's just, for the sake of this, go into it with the hopes that there's no pillow talk after the meeting. No spouses, but let's just get it all out in the air right now. And I remember as soon as I said that, my wife was like, well, I want to bring up something. I said, you got the floor. She said, I don't know if I want you running our family business if we get a divorce. Everybody's agenda went up like that. But as soon as she said it, I said, that's the magic. That's what we have to be brave enough to say so we can address it. So sure enough, we addressed it. We got some attorneys involved, we got some family business advisors involved, and we put together a plan, an operating agreement, if that were that. So, these are the things that, we have to kind of have the foresight. And quite frankly, marriages today, a lot of them don't last. So you have to kind of put some things in place. I got to check this because I'll stay on one thing and keep going. Okay. One of the things that I want to talk about is just what it was like to have Alice and Wade every day as mentors and how that really shaped me. I remember being 24 years old and Alice saying, you got to get on board. I'm like, why? I said, because you need to get back. I'm like, I don't have anything yet. She's like, you do. I said, well, how do I do that? She said, you got to get invited. I said, oh. So how you establish your credibility matters. Where you spend your time matters. I had to learn to get energy from meeting people that didn't look like me, that didn't think like me, that was outside of my circle. Because I know my circle wasn't going to get me too far. So back then, she was just normalizing what it meant to give back to your community. Now, people ask me, why are you on Sunday boards? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? I smile. Because honestly, that's all I know, because that's all I saw. Was that part of the seat that you're in is being a fabric of the community and giving back to the community. Yeah, we can give money. We can give money, but giving your time and your talent us be successful, and that's whatever and how we define success. One of the things that Allison Wade gave me was confidence. Confidence is one of the most important things that you can give someone, but it's also one of the worst things you can take away. How many people in this room, show of hands, how many people in this room can sing? I asked that same question to my now 3-year-old who's taking guardianship over, pre-K class. How many hands do you think went up? I didn't ask, can you sing well? But throughout the years, you're born with confidence. It's society that tells you what you're not good at. So now, how many people can sing?
Rick's taking a request.
All right. I'm going to share with you all our company core values because I want to kind of get into the community. I've got about 7 minutes left. So, enjoying trust and collaboration as a team while supporting each other every day. Our core values. Building a community of belonging where diversity and inclusion enhances the authentic experiences. Another. We ask all of our managers, our third one is to lead with humility, authenticity, vulnerability, and empathy. It's acting for hand. And then last one is choosing integrity in every decision. We are a 3PL outsourced solutions company that specializes in e-commerce, order fulfillment, manufacturing, warehousing, and distribution. None of those core values have anything to do with it. It's all about humanity. And humanity, I'm hoping, will allow this great country to be the great country it can be. And that's, we truly believe, as we're continually growing and hiring, we want to make sure that that's first and foremost in everyone's minds and who our core values are. I appreciate the ethical guide of the Rotarians. You know, is it the truth? Is it fair? It's all concern. Will it build goodwill? Will it be beneficial? Because community is all that. You know, it's where you work, it's your neighborhood, you run your gym, the boards you serve on, the events, your friends, even your haters, right? That's all community. And I'm gonna play a video real quick and then just kind of talk about something real quick. All right. I want you to think about right now how many situations that you're in where you're either the
Get a
official.
little closer to the mic, please.
Sorry. Think about some of the situations that you're in where you're either the fisherman or the dog. Okay? All right, go ahead and play it. See how life changes when our perception changes. So it's Black History Month, and I want to preface what I say next with the context in hopes of helping others gain some wisdom, enlightenment, understanding, and compassion. That your minds and hearts be open and receptive to kind of what you hear in this next part. Allison Wade didn't grow because of the city that they've given a lot back to. I wish this city would scale and grow other women and minority-owned businesses, because we're last in other peer cities. And we have enough in this city to really scale some of our businesses. I wish people understood the success of one Black person does not raise the status of the masses of Black people. I wish people would understand that the number one threat to the Black community is and economic mobility is racial inequity. Current day practices and unmediated residue from the past policy that only benefited whites for centuries, from GI Bill to redlining to loans. My grandmother rented a house for 50 years because she didn't get a loan and didn't have anything to leave her kids. Every Black person in here knows you have to earn everything, and you have to do something how many times as hard? Twice as hard. Every grandmother, Black mom has told me that. We work hard. We really do. I wish people cared that they see the value in diverse perspectives. But more importantly, that they acknowledge it and defend it openly. So who are we as a community? Are you the fisherman? Are you the dog? give you the word, thinking outside of ourselves, thinking outside of yourself, and see how life changes when our perception changes, and what legacy you want to carry. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Condrad. If you will please stay where you are. I'm going to invite Rotarians who have a question of our speaker to abide by the rules on the screen that is. Thank you.
You'll be back! Email can't help people customize and set.
Thank you. So if you will please line up behind me and abide by the screen and asking today's speaker.
Hello, Condrad. Thank you so much. I'm Kevin Fields. I'm president of LCCC, Local Central Community Center, also a club director and the DEI committee chair for this club. So on behalf of myself, my club, my committee, I want to say thank you. That was a great message in the spirit of Black History Month. And I want to thank this club because this club stands firm on the idea that DEI is important to the work and the mission of the Rotary Club. Rotary International has adopted support for DEI, likewise as this club. But we're under no illusion that, there is an assault on DEI from a federal policy administration under the current administration. So I wanted you to lift us up around that and just echo what you already said, but also make us understand that it's us in local community settings like this that will make all the difference in the world as we go forward. If you could just illuminate on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a DEI expert. We just believe in humanity. And if you really care about people, you really want to help each other. And if you can just acknowledge that some need more help than others, not because of something they did, but because of something they didn't have access to, or their parents didn't have access to. This great country got rich. If we didn't have to pay our employees, we would too. If we can just acknowledge that and the things that happen afterwards, I think it'll just bring us to a better place where if we don't understand something, we hate it.
Thank you.
Conrad, because you are so engaged in the community, I think you'll be able to answer this question and help some folks out. Where are random acts of excellence? Where are organizations and groups doing some things that are making investments in minority-owned businesses that we should all pay attention to and go, oh, let's do more with those folks. Let's invest in this project, program, etc.
Yeah.
I see a lot of really good training programs like AMP. You got a lot of good incubators coming out of different, whether it's GLI and other places. You also have, I think at the end of the day, those things are really good and great, and they're a springboard, and it's got to be with an opportunity. It's hard to leverage any of those things if you never get the opportunity. And the city and this community can give that opportunity. I've seen other cities do this. And their economy is flourishing. Downtown is safe. Like people want hope. they want opportunity, and the ones that can really give love to their own community before going out. I mean, a lot of us have millions of dollars in spend. How much of that spend is coming from our own city versus going out? You know, so I think there's an opportunity there. People want an opportunity, and getting in circles, different circles, matters. One of the things I think about when I get the opportunity to have a chair at any table is to not just be present, but to be grateful for that chair, but then also how do you use that to then open up your circle even more? So having individual meetings with people, traveling with people that are in your circle, then you start to kind of understand that it's okay to have different opinions, different views, and kind of talk about it, without not understanding it and then coming up with your own, well, this is what I think about it. In our company, we try to really talk about having a heightened discomfort tolerance. If we could just have a heightened discomfort tolerance, and that happens when you can have relationships and gain some trust.
Hey Conrad, Barbara Sexton-Smith here, and thanks for your broad spectrum engagement, because our community is better because you are here and you're doing what you're doing. So with that, you mentioned when you were talking the divestiture, which resulted in, I believe you said, Alice and Wade being the repository of one warehouse. All right, I'm interested in you talking for a couple of minutes about where have we come and where has HJI come since the one warehouse. Under your tutelage and leadership. Go ahead and claim it.
So we had one customer, about 20 people in one facility, and it's been really fun adding talent to the team and embarking on a journey, having founders that had a willingness to let go, allowing us to leverage debt a little differently, and we had to gain their confidence, but we did, and we've grown to, we have 8 locations across Kentucky and Tennessee. We have almost 500 employees. We were born out of automotive and quickly understood that automotive was at like a very high level of business acumen. And we've gotten into other industries that weren't nearly as high, but we didn't know because we were just kind of born into that. So we're in healthcare, we're in consumer, we're in food and beverage. So it's been fun to be able to grow that piece. We're looking for an acquisition right now. And we're preparing the third generation. They may decide, let's sell it and open up a family office and use that to give even more back to the community. I love that. I just want to be good stewards of what I've been given, grow what I've been given, and then allow that third generation to decide what they want to do. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Condrad, for being here with your guest Renee today. Thank you for sharing your voice and the story, and thank you obviously for your community leadership. We are all the better for it, as Barbara Sexton-Smith pointed out. Okay, next week's meeting will feature Jennifer Hancock. She's the president and CEO of VOA Mid-States. She's also the chair of Impetus. She wants to talk about how VOA Mid-State's is providing critical support to individuals experiencing homelessness in our community and families in need, but also to share how Impetus, which is a dynamic coalition of business and civic leaders, is driving strategic solutions to address the root causes of poverty, homelessness, and economic instability, fostering long-term community change. So please RSVP by noon on Monday if you want to go to next Thursday's meeting, or of course you can always scan the QR code here before you leave so you don't forget about it over the weekend. I want to remind the guests, when I ring the bell, but please go over to the What is Rotary table for 5 or 6 minutes of an overview about our club. And I want to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day.